Mina! An ominous voice whispered from beyond. Mina awoke from what she perceived as a horrible, wretched nightmare, only to realize it was not a dream. 10 years ago, she witnessed with incredulous horror the beast that had assailed her spirit, her sanity, her life, lose its head and turn to dust. It nearly killed her husband, Jonathan, their friends Arthur Homewood, Dr. Seward, and Dr. Van Helsing. Her dear friend Lucy Westenra and Quincy Morse would not be so lucky, but thus ended the terrorist reign of Count Dracula, or so she thought. The carriage raced through the obsidian night. Although she knew not where she was, Mina knew where she was going, back to the broken battlements of Dracula's castle, where it all began and ended 10 years ago, for the Prince of Darkness has returned, claiming Mina for his own. Uncertain of what dreaded fate lies ahead, she is powerless to fight his volition, and beneath the starless sky, under his dark command, the carriage bore on. The castle sat above a vast, desolate wasteland. As the carriage drew closer, clouds dark and low rolled in with haste, the wind brisk and chilling, and an eerie gloom engulfed the landscape. A pack of wolves ran alongside the black carriage, barking and howling as they escorted the unwilling passenger to her final destination. Once upon the crumbling fortification, they halted their course and dissipated into the shadows of the night. The carriage passed through the portcullis and pulled up slowly to the fore building and came to a halt. Mina could hear a burst of thunder in the distance from the approaching tempest. The doors of the keep shrilled loudly as they slowly swung open. A bolt of lightning shot across the squalid sky, tearing open the clouds and releasing a torrent of rain. Mina opened the carriage door and quickly leaped out, en route to the keep to seek refuge from the frigid, unrelenting downpour. Racing up the ancient stone steps, she turned and glanced behind her towards the carriage. Her dismay saw that there was no driver and the coach box abandoned. Turning back toward the entrance, she saw a red mist form, then a white face with glaring red eyes appeared before her, as it slowly transformed into a tall, thin man with distinct features, full red lips, and sharp white teeth. With a sweep of his arm, the deluge suddenly ceased, and he spoke. Bună seara, Mina. I bid you welcome to my home. Time appears to have been most kind to you, as your beauty is unmarred. It is most regrettable that we parted in such an unforgivable manner on your last call. Oh yes, I am painfully aware that you and your husband Jonathan returned a mere 3 years ago to confirm that I was still indisposed. I apologize that I could not greet you upon your visit, but I was still recovering from the most brutal attack that your husband and his band of merry marauders inflicted upon me. It is a shame about Mr. Quincy Morse, is it not? Please allow me to offer my condolences. How can this be? Your body burned, you turned to ash. We stood and watched as the wind displaced your ashes. Ah, yes, that was most unfortunate and quite painful, but my revenge knows no bounds. There is no power under heaven that can stop me. I am eternal, as is my love for you, Mina. Love? You know nothing of love. You own, possess, conquer, and destroy lives, but do not love. How dare you? How dare you come into our lives again? You are correct, my dearest Mina. I possess you. You, Mina, are a part of me as I am a part of you. You do not possess me. I broke free of your treachery when you were destroyed. You cannot destroy me. I admit I underestimated the determination of Mr. Harker and his cohorts, a fatal error on my part. But even eternal darkness cannot keep me away from you. Can you not find it in your heart to love me again, as you once did? With a myriad of emotion, Mina shouts, I never loved you. My hatred for you only surpasses my love for others. Mina angrily spat in the Count's face in a manner unbecoming of a lady. I am sorry you feel that way, but you have no choice. You will be my bride. Dracula looked into Mina's eyes intensely, fire raging within his pupils. She soon fell under his spell, fighting against him with every last bit of her will. He then spoke without words, and she turned her head, pulling down her collar, exposing her soft, pale throat. He gently caressed her hair, inhaling deeply of her essence, then whispered in a menacing tone, So fragile is thy spirit, so frail is thy flesh. He leaned his head back, opened his mouth, and suddenly lunged forward, attacking like a hungry animal. Piercing the tender nape of her neck with his razor-sharp fangs, the beast began to feed, sucking and slurping up the life-sustaining fluid. When he finished, he pulled up his sleeve and cut into the alabaster skin of his wrist with his fingernail. As the blood flowed freely from the wound, he held it up to Mina's mouth. Drink, the Count commanded, and she began to lap up the vermilion fluid. Wallowing in his moment of exquisite ecstasy, Dracula drops his guard. Without warning, Mina strikes. She pulls a stake out from underneath her dress and thrusts it deep into Dracula's chest. Dracula steps back with a look of astonishment on his face as he pulls out the stake and laughs. "You cannot kill me, Mina!" Dracula boasts. Mina falls to her knees, burying her face into her hands, sobbing uncontrollably. Dracula begins to act unusually. His body writhes and contorts, stumbling around like a newborn fawn. Dracula asks surprisingly, "What have you done, Mina?" Mina looks up angrily, tears and blood dripping from her face. "Your pride has failed you yet again. A gypsy woman greeted us on our last visit and foretold your return. She gave me a book that contained an ancient potion that would subdue you. I covered the stake with it. Soon you will succumb, powerless to move or sleep. You will be in limbo, alone, unable to act for 1,000 years. By then, the world will no longer fear you. When the sun rises in the sky, you will be mine forever. I will be waiting for you, as you too will be alone, as the ones you love will grow old and die. And then we will start anew. Until then, I bid you farewell, Mina Harker." "I will not be like you again," Mina cries out. With a dynamic laugh, Dracula swirls around, turning into a charcoal mist, and quickly flees into the castle, into the sanctuary of his coffin, before the potion takes full effect. Mina, now cursed with being a vampire at the rising sun, throws herself off the ramparts as the morning begins to break the horizon. "Forgive me, Jonathan," she pleaded as she plummeted into the ravine below, her life flashing before her eyes, the joys, the sorrows, the pain, all dashed in an instant upon the jagged rocks, ending it all. As the sun takes its seat in the sky, marking the new day, Mina's broken body lies lifeless in the cooling shade of evergreens. Moments later, her eyes open, and her body heaves as it breathes in new life.